Do you remember watching The Magic School Bus? If you don't know what it is, it's an educational show for children to watch at home and at school. The show is about a teacher, a crazy one, who would take students on wacky adventures, like through outer space, the human body, throughout nature's creations, etc. I've always loved the show as a kid. I'm sure every kid that was born in the 90s and early 2000s would remember the show to travel through these field trips. Miss Frizzle would always use the magic school bus to do them. Have you ever wondered what inspired the creators to make the show? Some people believe that Miss Frizzle is a psychic or wizard to make these field trips happen. Others think that the students were hallucinating on field trips, but that is what they think. I somewhat believe in those, but I do have an idea of what inspired the creators to make the show. Let's start off with Miss Frizzle, the crazy teacher that takes students on wacky adventures. She's got ADHD, that personality she has in the show, always happy most of the time, and is smart and wise while teaching her class. There were times where she fell down in the dumps, but she was mostly happy throughout the time. The ADHD part was mostly inspired by Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, as he has ADHD due to him always being hyperactive. So that would explain Miss Frizzle's personality. But since she's an adult, she is more mature and handled her ADHD better. Liz is the class pet of the classroom. She does come up with ideas at times, but she isn't really recognized. Every school that has a class pet in their classroom, they don't usually do much rather than sit in their cages and do whatever animals do. The way Liz tries something new for her class, no one even noticed her reasons for agreeing or not agreeing with anyone. Arnold is the typical student who says the lines of, "I wish I should have stayed home today," or "I knew I should have stayed home today." He always says that because he's the nervous kid of the class, probably because he has an anxiety disorder. However, in one episode of The Magic School Bus, Arnold didn't have any hints of anxiety kicking in and liking to go on a field trip. That episode was all dried up. I believe Arnold also acted like that in other episodes. I just don't remember which one. Wanda is someone with PTSD, mainly because whenever the class is in a bad situation, she says along the lines of, "What are you gonna do?" 3 times. I'm assuming whenever something puts the class in danger or in the bad situation, it somehow triggers her PTSD. If you ask if she had a traumatizing experience with something, that I cannot answer, mainly because it is not hinted in the show. I do believe that she has PTSD in the show, at least that's what I thought she has. Tim is the normal kid in the class. He gives out facts to the class about things he knows, but not fully like the teacher can. Now, he's not the nerd of the class, but he does have a smart idea. His IQ is mostly average by the sounds of it. I'm not sure if he's the semi-nerd or not, but I guess that's how I think of him. Ralphie is the kind of student that is the jokester at times. Not as much as Carlos is, but he's the kind that does these jokes out of random. Sometimes whenever something in the class feels nauseating to him, he would say, "I think I'm going to be sick," when he isn't actually saying that. He would say along the lines of, "Is it just me?" or that is normally what he said in whenever a situation doesn't make any sense to him, or he doesn't get the idea. In the episode Inside of Ralphie, he does try to get out of bed by pretending he is well when his mother knows that he isn't feeling good. Let's move on to Carlos, the boy who tells jokes and puts out random puns in the class. He is most likely hated by the students. Whenever they get tired of hearing his puns and jokes, he's no better than Luann Loud right here. But since the Loud House didn't exist back then, Carlos is the student that says bad jokes and puns, just for a reaction out of the students. Which is why you'll always hear everyone saying, "Carlos." In a not good impressed manner. Why does he does this for attention? Well, I guess he doesn't get the most attention out of the other students. So this is his way of trying to get the attention and people to pay attention to him. Dorothy Ann is the smart one of the class. She is a nerd if you want to put it that way. But Dorothy Ann, also known as DA, always have her books with her on certain topics. Like whenever the students are confused at something, she would always pull out her books to explain something. Her usual line, "According to my research," she will state whatever the fact it is to the class, just so they have a better way of understanding the stuff that they never knew about. Phoebe is the quiet and shy one of her class. She loves animals and plants and has a good heart for all living things. Whenever she says, "At my old school," she brings up the past of what happened to her before she came to Walkerton Elementary. Why does she bring up the past by saying that? She is most likely bullied and picked on by other kids, mainly because she was quiet and barely had any friends to talk to but animals and plants. Before she was added to Miss Frizzle's class, she would talk to plants and animals whenever she was depressed or being bullied by other kids. I believe she's got autism, which could confuse people of Phoebe talking to herself. Whenever she gives loves for her talks and plants to animals, she always loves to do that whenever she was alone. Keisha is one that freaks out over nothing, as well as get moody at times. She is most likely got bipolar. Like, one moment she's chill, next she gets angry, then emotional. All these emotions get all over the place, which explains why she jumps into conclusions without any evidence of to what happened. Her bipolar could explain why she snaps at other students, even though she doesn't mean to. When she says, oh bad, bad, bad," she's most likely having panic attacks, not to get confused with Wanda having PTSD. Janet, who is Arnold's cousin, is the bratty show-off who likes to brag about things. She thinks that she is queen of the castle. If you've seen the very first episode of the Magic School Bus, she also brags about how her teacher does things that Miss Frizzle has never done before. She is most likely a spoiled brat, which would explain why her attitude is her being such a bitch all the time, even towards her cousin Arnold. The Magic School Bus is a magic time machine, one that never existed. That would make sense, seeing that Miss Frizzle and her class would use it to go on field trips. But the time the machine is at the shape of a bus, mainly this is so Miss Frizzle's way to hide the truth behind the magic time machine. Why would she do that? Mostly so no one would steal it, or even hijack when no one was looking. Which explains why Miss Frizzle never revealed any secrets of the bus to anyone.